Hello, will the computer share screen for the stopwatch? Or I can by myself? I'm sorry,
You can start when you are ready, Fadia.
okay, so I will have my stopwatch.
And there will be notification for accommodity
Okay.
if you have reached 5 minutes and 7.
All right. All right. No, I ask, will the committee do or not? If you're done, no. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Okay, I will start in my first word, right? Okay, thank you. All right. Good morning, the honorable judges and all of the audience. First of all, I have to say sorry that I'm not wearing my school uniform, but I'm wearing this beautiful dress because today is my sister's wedding and have to attend this final meeting also. All right. Back to my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, last 10 October, everyone in the world celebrated a special day. And you know what kind of this day? Anyone guess? Yes, the word mental health day. Maybe you often heard that the importance of mental health is same as the physical health. So, what exactly World Mental Health Day is and why do we have to celebrate it? Alright. Mental Health Day is a day that is aimed at raising awareness and also spreading education about mental health issues across the globe. Besides educating, it is also mobilizing the effort in support of the Mental Health Day. Before explaining about the Mental Health Day further, I will explain to all of you guys the importance of mental health first and why we have to spread the awareness to in society and the example. The pandemic caused by COVID-19 had badly impacted all of the society. A pandemic that suddenly refuges us that all sectors of life are forced to pressure, right? And health, economy, social, and even the education face great difficulties. But on the other hand, this pandemic is like a reminder for all of us, right? Especially in the health sector. All levels on society feel the impact of this pandemic, including us, the youth or the teenagers. Like almost all teenagers like me, my friends who are still in school and college experience boredom because of it. And in fact, some of them even experience the mental exhaustion. Therefore, to overcome that issue, they are looking for a place to find comfort. The typical outlets that have become a place for to find the comfort in our social media and then video games and many forms of media entertainment such as K-drama, movies, TV show, and etc. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I will give you a few notable example in video games would be Animal Crossing The New Horizon. Anyone know that game? Alright, so it's a game that released around the beginning of the global pandemic that has gone viral worldwide. And it contains comforting and also the perfect getaway from the first life's looming trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know that gaming is an easy way to be immersed in activity free of real life, but it helps it away a person help with how addicting and also satisfying it is. And thus making it one of the unhealthy coping mechanism to anxiety that often done by the youth like me. Alright, and another example would be social media like Twitter, Instagram that have always been one of the social media capitals that seem never lose of its relevance in my life. A surprising outlier in the social media community that has been widely loved app with TikTok. Nobody know TikTok is, but TikTok is like similar to Instagram, where people it's said that there is a constant imagery of people with the perfect lives and conventionally good looking, stimulating the stigma for everyone to run after this at home. Most especially a time where everyone is at home, it's become an unhealthy trend for the teenager to try and follow up this standard to put up by the media to live the picture of perfect life and look what has been portrayed to be the perfect face. Social media is like, for me, social media is an unfit place for people to use for coping with this time for teenagers who are still very impressionable and are likely to not be the best judge of what's worth for them and what's not. And lastly, for media entertainment, like what I mentioned before, a form of TV show that is commonly referred to K-drama, everyone know K-drama, that has been especially hyped up by the teenager to this day. Famous titles such as It's Okay to Not Be Okay, The King Eternal Monarch, and also Startup are all of some of the K-drama that have been the object of the youth's obsession. Interestingly, many of these K-drama retain meaningful message and tend to raise awareness in certain topics, often being the importance of mental health, which is actually good for the youth. Alright, for all of this sample, the underlying cause to the youth worrisome obsession is with all of the media about is simply that they are stressed. Since online learning was implemented, students often feel tired about the assignment that piling up, and they often feel worried and also anxious. Why? They always feel chased by the task deadline, like me, and plus they feel bored at home. They cannot meet face to face with the teacher, with their friends, and they have to pen up their energy that they've become used to letting out through staring at the screen and of an electronic too long. Alright, this quarantining oneself helped protect the youth physical health, but suddenly it compromised their mental health. I'll just tell you how the importance of mental health in ourselves. That's why there is a World Mental Health Day. And in this year, 2021, we have a new theme for the Mental Health Day. It is mental health in an unequal world. And what does it mean? This theme is focused on mental health services to remain unequal with 59 until 55% of individuals with mental illness in low and middle income countries unable to obtain the mental health treatment at all. The mental health treatment gap is exacerbated by a lack of investment in mental health that is disproportional to overall of the budget, right? Especially in this pandemic in which economies are unstable. There is even worse thing that may be sudden because of this issue, like suicide. Have you ever heard a student end their life because of this school? Alright, there is a student at a junior high school in Tarakan, North Kalimantan that was found dead by hanging himself in the bathroom where he lived. He was only stressed because a lot of school homework had complained about it, but there's no response about that. Isn't that pathetic? So, what can we do to overcome that? And how do we keep our minds to be healthy? There are many ways actually, but I will give you a tips for that. First, do a self-care. Take a break. That's okay to play games. And if you want to read books, just read a book and do anything that you enjoy like me. It would boost your mood and calm you. Second, still stay connected with your friends, with your family. And if you are feeling lonely, don't worry to contact them. You can share what you feel. You can share your story with them, people that you trust. Because most people find that talking to someone who cared about them, that really helps a lot. Third, stick to regular eating and sleeping habit as much as possible. As I stated before, take a break regularly. That's truly important. Taking a break is indeed important for both your physical and also your mental health. Fourth, the most important, please hear it is have a healthy mindset. It's easy to forget that what's healthy mindset is not always thinking positively and never thinking negatively. It's remember that bad things happen and also good things happen. And whichever happen, it's for the best. It keeps in mind that worrying is totally normal and that it's alright to feel sad for no reason sometimes. It's reminding oneself that it's fine that they're frustrated and irritated with their life because their feelings are perfectly valid and this feeling can help push them to strive for a better environment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's a quote from Stephen Edson, a UK top personnel. He said that emotional pain is not something that should be hidden away and never spoken about. There's truth in your pain, there is growth in your pain, and but only it first out into the open. Before I close this speech, I want to say to all of you, to everyone who's struggling with their mental health, it's so important to look after our mental health because if you are still struggling or know someone who is, please talk to them. It's really important. I see you, we see you. Your feelings are valid and your struggles are totally real and things to get better. That's all for me. Thanks for your attention and goodbye.
Thank you so much, Fadia. You can leave the
How
room.
many span, how many time did I spend?
I think
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all of the judges.
Thank you.
thank you, Fadia. Hello, Mareta.
Hello,
How are you going?
I'm good.
Okay. Mareta, you can start your speech whenever you're ready.
Okay,
And good luck.
thank you. Health is a state of complete harmony of the body, mind, and spirit, and it is one of the most important elements of life. People that neglect health are those who will bring up the problems for the future. The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, standing in front of you all, I, Mareta Ardelia from Taruna Nusantara Senior High School. And today, I'd like to express my thoughts and opinions about the necessity and importance of taking care of our mental health. One of many things that I care about in this world is mental health, especially the ones that involve me or somebody that I cared most. One of my friends, a close friend, he is smart, he's cheerful, and has a comfortable life. Or in simplest words, he has everything that he needs. He is my schoolmate, and he is actually a nice person. He always laughs, he always smiles, and sometimes he even helps me out if I got any problem. And for me, he is like a problem solver. He always knows how to give solutions in every problem that I have. Until one day, I just knew that he has a big pressure from his surroundings, his families, his friends, and his teachers. His families always wanted him to have A plus in every subject at school. And at school, his friends wanted him to play with them or else they'll keep away from him. And the teachers at school see my friend as a bad boy that always breaks a rule, but actually he is not. And this makes him need more effort on getting a good score at school. As his friend that cares a lot with him, even I'm not a therapist or an expert in these things that involve mental health, but I'm trying my best to always be helpful, listen to his stories, cheer him up, and do things that could make him happy. Even I do have a lot of things and assignments to do, I still take time to listen to his stories and try to be understandable because I know that mental health cannot be neglected. If we can help each other, then why don't I help him, right? Even I am not the professional, but as a friend, as his friend, I just want to make sure that he is fine and always encourage him. I just want him to know that he is worthy, that he is better than what he thinks he is. Small things like that could be the initiation of mental disorders, as people around them should be more aware, should be more sensitive of the symptoms that could just appear. We cannot underestimate people's condition when they feel pressured and stressed. We should take a good care of our mental health because one of the basic human needs is health. And health not only consists of the physical part, but also mental health. And it will be hard to have physical health without considering our balance of mind. And mental health itself is the key to get through our life challenges, getting through things and deal with them. Without having mental stability, we will get depression, suicide, or other mental disorder easily. Even though we cannot physically see mental disorders, but we cannot underestimate this because this will give a long-term effect on each individual. And mental health is one of the important things in life and it brings impact to our body. Without people realizing it, it brings big effects to our body healthness. The smallest example is when you're worried about something, when you feel nervous, then you'll feel stressed. And when you feel stressed, you often got a stomach ache, wanted to throw up, and feel dizzy. See? How big it is the power of our emotion, the power of our mind, the power of our mental. Boom.
a researcher from Harvard School of Public Health Department of Society, states that the most optimistic individuals have about 50% lower risk of developing cardiovascular complaint when compared to the one who is less optimistic. If we could think in a positive way, it could also help our body to not easily get sick. Because an unhealthy mind, if an unhealthy body, will ultimately destroy health. And I do believe every people has their hard time in their life. Sadness, disappointment, loss of loved ones, financial difficulties, got betrayed, and many more. Some people realize and know how to solve their problems, but some people struggle a lot on solving their problem that will cause depression, anxiety, stress, and until the face they hate themselves and feel worthless. We cannot underestimate things like this. We need to do something before it got worse. Or in this case, they might need help from professionals so that the worst thing will not happen. Many people thought going to psychiatrists or psychologists only for those who have a mental illness, psychopath, or psychoneurotic. But this action is actually needed. It is a form of taking care of ourselves, our health, our mental health, and it is also a preventive action. As we know, preventing is better than curing. Going to psychologists or psychiatrists might help you get through your difficulties because health is a blessing and we cannot afford it with money. And mental health is not a destination, but it is a process, it is a way that we need to go. We have to normalize people that going to psychologists or psychiatrists. It is one of our process on having a good health, either mentally or physically. Going there is a preventive way to stay away from any illness, like what Dalai Lama said. A calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence, so that's very important for good health. That's all from me, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Marita. You can leave the room.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hello, Franciscus.
Hello, judges.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Okay, you can start whenever you're ready. Good luck.
All right. Let's start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Many people have a healthy body and physically fit, but not mentally healthy. Many people smile easily, but not with their feelings. Stress, depression, and even suicide have now become an option for those who are feeling down during this pandemic COVID-19. This is a health problem that cannot be resolved in the midst of the society. Even the positive cases of COVID-19 virus are rampant in our country that have not been completely resolved, especially with this mental health problem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Presigawahi from First Step Senior High School SOE of East Nusa Tenggara. And I'm standing right here from the east of Indonesia, paying my attention not only for today, but actually also pay my attention for our future. Mental health in an equal world is a simultaneous theme to be commemorated in 2021. It has been identified that 20% of Indonesia's 250 million population has the potential to experience serious mental health problems. Well, the problem now is the mental health care in Indonesia still hampered by stigmatization and also the discrimination. Even in this pandemic, it with various situations that increase stress level of many people, as is really felt by many people, namely, they decline in family finances, a place for livelihood, and even work, education just stops. Nowadays, people are still struggling to counter the spread of COVID-19 virus. But on the other hand, that were guilt by stigmatization and also discrimination such as spread feelings of anxiety, fear, mental stress due to isolation, restriction on physical distance, and also social relationships and uncertainty. More specific examples, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, have resulted in weight stigmatization and also the discrimination against certain groups, especially to the COVID-19 positive patients, like patients under surveillance and people under surveillance, as a virus carries because they are considered to be able to spread COVID-19 virus. This makes the stigmatized receives discriminatory treatment for the majority group. Furthermore, this can be seen from the incident of the nurses being expelled from their health homes. Health team workers who were rejected by their, what I'm trying to say is their neighbors, the refusal to burial the bodies of the victim of the COVID-19 positive. Given this, it is also feared the COVID-19 pandemic could be used as excuse to violate human rights and even threaten the democracy. In fact, and one thing to remember is human rights have existed since born in every person, and it have to be related to that everyone has the right to fulfill in their life needs, which means they also have the right to be free from negative actions that can seriously disrupt a person's health and mental condition. Therefore, the action policy that taken by the government in handling the COVID-19 pandemic must be proportional and not at the expense of human. What I'm trying to say is the expense of human rights and the democracies which are protected and guaranteed by the Constitution. Furthermore, another issue is also about inequality. 75% to 95% people with mental health problems in developing countries have not taken proper facilities. They have not been able to get access to mental health facilities. Moreover, until now, not all provinces have mental hospitals so that not all people with mental disorders can get the proper treatment. In addition, the problem of professional human resources for mental health workers is still very lacking, limited to infrastructure and high burden due to mental disorders. That means one CQRS serves about 250,000 residents. How it can possible? That's insane. Isn't a very big burden in effort to improve mental health services in Indonesia. Well, in addition, another problem that hinders in the handling in people mental health problems who are still harboring and afraid to speak up. This is the main problem that really happened to the victim. They can only depend on where they can afford to do such a consulting on health platform, which is not necessarily effective to helping them. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, psychosocial support is needed by someone is unusual situation like this. To keep the mental health of people and children in healthy condition, people around of them must condition their home as a safe, comfortable place for them to be able to adapt during this pandemic COVID-19. Support can be provided through the stimulation, supervision, mentoring, as well as supervision. In addition, because we really live side by side with the society, the pandemic also teaches us to live independently. This is also an opportunity for us to regulate and control ourselves in terms of fighting all the stigmatization and discrimination. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, as well as those who you have to fall into the mental health problems, don't be afraid. Let yourself to state your problems to those who are around of you. If you care about yourself, then other people will also care find a way out. Now, now more than ever, it is time to invest our mental health. So, as the last statement that I would like to say is, Happy World Mental Health Day, all of us. May we be aware to build our awareness for equality. Happy Mental Day for all of us. As a final, I would like to say thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Franciscus. You can leave the room.
Okay, thank you so much, judges.
No worries.
Give me. Can I start now?
Hello, Tiar.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, off you go and good luck.
The current pandemic situation has brought a lot of changes, both physically and emotionally, especially in what I observe every day, namely education. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tiar Putri Diniar, and I'm from Senior High School in Pacitan. Thank you, Porsimaptar and the most honorable judges for providing me the opportunity to greeting again. In this occasion, I will discuss about online versus offline education, which educational system influences emotional development. So there is a case, namely a second grade high school student in Goa City called M, who was desperate to end his life by drinking grace potion in October last year. Because he was suspected of having depression due to the pressure of distance learning he was experiencing. Before drinking the weed potion, M had complained to his friend that he had difficulty accessing his study assignment at school due to the poor signal in his home area. This clear evidence that children and adolescents who experience restriction on their learning activities at home are a vulnerable group to mental health disorders caused by the influence of circumstances. From this situation, it can be concluded that mental health and education, online education, are sustainable things. This needs to be conveyed because it is something important for the development of future generations. According to Bappenas, in 2030, Indonesia is expected to experience a demographic bonus. At that time, the productive age will be abundant. If the productive age has high quality, the country's performance would increase. But if not, Indonesia will lose a demographic bonus moment, which is very rare for a country to experience. Ladies and gentlemen, preparation to meet that moment start from now. Productive age who have high quality must have good intellectual and emotional. The state of this pandemic affects it all. High quality intellectuals are obtained by providing perfect teaching and learning activities. This perfection can be realized if done with the right method. Currently, there are two types of learning methods, namely offline and online. Both have different effects on mentality. So, which one is better? One student from UIN Surabaya made an analytical observation using the quantitative method of collecting votes from various groups. The data shows that when online, 91% are satisfactory, 9% are quite satisfactory, 0% are unsatisfactory. And for online data, 24% are satisfactory, 33% are quite satisfactory, and 43% are unsatisfactory. From the data above, it's become brave data that offline is better than online. When learning is carried out online, learning activities are carried out using a remote system, namely not meeting students and teachers directly. Teachers provide their knowledge through online media such as material in the form of videos or in text form. Students receive learning materials only as given by the teacher, so that students do not get character education through direct observation. And the teacher is not able to accurately assess the intellectual, character, and emotional or psychological development of the student. With conditions like the above, there is a small opportunity for us to prepare for the good use of demographic bonus. In addition to this, the impact given is on the development of mental health in the course of a teaching and learning activity during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mental health problems otherwise are stress, anxiety, and even depression. For students, this pandemic causes stress and anxiety related to changes in the teaching and learning process and daily life. Indonesian Mental Medicine conducted a survey on mental health, truth, and social self-examination. The results of the self-examination conducted by 4,010 over 5 months, April to August 2020, showed that 64.8% of respondents experienced psychological problems, with a proportion of 64.8% experiencing anxiety, 61.5% experiencing depression, and 74.8% experiencing trauma. Most psychological problems were found in the 17 to 29-year age group. I personally have method to prevent psychological problems from occurring in me. My method is self-talk. Does this sound weird? I think this is very helpful. Talking to myself about what I'm feeling makes me feel relief and can avoid self-harm. So physical health is important, but mental health is not as important. Therefore, the World Federation for Mental Health has declared that every October 10 is World Mental Health Day. It can be said Mental Health Day is a campaign instead a celebration. With this commemoration, people are expected to be more open about their mental health or those around them, and don't think of it as a taboo or even embarrassing thing to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, it can be concluded. Offline and online education has its own weaknesses, advantages, and consequences. But actually, it all comes back to each of us, how we go through it. It is wisely or consciously. It all depends on the weightage. The state of education does not only affect the quality of the population in terms of knowledge, but also in their psychological health, because their emotional development tends to be out of control. The contributing factors are the lack of attention to the teacher, who is their role model, the lack of social interaction between friends of the same age, older and below them. Through yes, I have connection problem. Ladies and gentlemen, it can be concluded offline and online education has its own weaknesses, advantages, and consequences. But actually, it all comes back to each of us how we go through it. It is wisely or can't use it. It all depends on the way age. The state of education does not only affect the quality of the population in terms of knowledge, but also in their psychological health, because their emotional development tends to be out of control. The contributing factors are the lack of attention to the teacher, who is their role model, the lack of social interaction between friends of the same age, older and below them. True, it is important for the growth of a student. This is an extra fight for parents at home as the main educator in the family, because the education system is implemented online. Parents have extra responsibilities and effort in educating their children's mental attitude and knowledge. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Yes, you're right. Okay, okay. Yes, thank you.
Halo Ruby.
Halo Kak.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, off you go and good luck.
Thank you. I'll start in 3, 2, 1. People with mental illness are just possessed. People with mental illness are dangerous. Those people who say they're depressed online are just attention seekers. Ladies and gentlemen, how familiar are you with that statement? Judgmental behavior toward people who experience mental illness shouldn't be preserved. Because I also experienced similar case to that. One day, I cried so much over something, and I was told society these days underestimate the power of tuning in into our negative emotion. Are you wondering the same? Now let's break down about it. Honorable judges and respected audience, let me introduce myself. I am Ruby Mutia Safira. In order to contribute to celebrate the World Mental Health Day, dated on October 10th, today I would love to deliver a speech entitled Get in Touch with Your Mental Health. There are so many various ways to celebrate this, and there are so many celebrities that celebrate that. For example, one celebrant named Mediazine posted a post on Instagram with the caption, her journey as she was diagnosed as a bipolar disorder, the healing, and fighting over criticism. The other example is the famous singer named Tiara Andini. She contributed by posting puffy eyes selfie on Instagram, and there are so many comments who emphasize. So, what about you? How do you celebrate that? Me personally, I don't dare to post my puffy selfie eyes on Instagram because I think I'll look too pretty. Just kidding. So, in other reason too, I'm afraid of being judged. By who? By those people with judgmental behavior. Actually, it's not the individual who's to blame, but instead, it is the judgmental behavior that is wrong. Because you know what? Actually, those people who are heartless and judgmental are actually mentally ill. In case that they can't feel empathy for other people, it means they are also failed to recognize and they ignore their own feeling. Proof. Isn't that mind-blowing? How could I know? For a long period of time, I've been learning myself to heal. I try to heal my emotion spiritually and mentally by listening to podcasts, reading books, self-help and psychological books to absolutely understand how I behave as a human nature. And I found that our today behavior to people is the result of past event, that result pattern, and it also shows the way we treat ourselves. And people who are mentally healthy, they won't struggle to empathy to people. And those who struggle, they are actually mentally ill. Now, according to Riset Kesehatan Desa Data 2018, there are 6.2% people, or equals 4.3 millions of people who experience depression. And there are 10%, or equals 2.6 millions of people who experience emotional mental disorder. See, this is not a few. So stigma and discrimination in the society would make the people mental health problems getting worse, would delay or stop them from getting any help. So what can be done? First, we need to acknowledge several kinds of mental illness. And mental illness can be caused of genetic factor, biological factor, such as imbalanced chemical brain or injury brain or epilepsy. So do you question how to know if right now I'm mentally ill? Before that, you need to know that there are some level from the mild to the most complicated level of depression. First, the most depressive symptoms that can be caused by major of people these days in daily are in a long period of time. And also, they would have the change sleep pattern. They also would withdraw themselves in the social environment. They would also be lost interest in their hobbies. Now, the next is the more complicated mental disorder. Those are such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, and so on. And this shouldn't be self-diagnosed. We should go to the professional first. So what can be done now to solve the mental health problems from the mild level is to do the nature of mind. This one thing is quite basic, but as we grow, we might forget because we hold pride in our own self that create resistance. And it's sometimes hard to get in touch with our feeling. So the first key to heal is to raise your awareness about emotional intelligence. This is as known as recognizing, controlling, and feeling your own emotion. Please try to feel your emotion. Super duper simple, right? So try to bring it up, your emotion into words. Why are you mad? Why are you sad? Please elaborate that. The more detailed you are, the more you are going to be emotionally intelligent. The problem is, society these days underestimate this emotional intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know in our brain we have intellectual and emotional intelligence. And unfortunately, society these days glorify the intellectual intelligence unlike glorifying emotional intelligence in case that those two things are equally important. If we only use one side, it's not enough for us to live. So, what can be done for those people who have more complicated mental illness? For my friends out there who experience more complicated mental illness, I want you to take your space first to contemplate about yourself and feel it. Please, and eventually, please try to seek out any help from the professional. If you are shy or ashamed to talk in real life, you can try to have online consultation. And fortunately, there are so many affordable service or even free of charge. And I will hope you be healing as soon as possible. So until this very moment, I want to emphasize one more time that mental health is as important as physical health. In this life, we always depend on our well-being to run our day. Once this thing is not right, the other business wouldn't be so right too. And please normalize people who go to psychiatrists. Normalize people who talk about mental illness without underestimating them. So everything is start with you to get in touch with your mental health. That's all from me. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Habibi.
Hello,
Yeah, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. You can stop whenever you're ready. And good luck.
Wait, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So I start whenever I can, right? I see. Okay. Social media. We all have them, right? And we acknowledge the potential benefits of using social media are first, staying connected with the world. Because we can tell all of our friends, our families, our condition, and etc. As long as there is an internet connection. Second, make new friends with shared interests. We can open applications such as Omegle to find new friends around the world. And let's just be frank here, we all love to have a friend outside of our country. Am I correct? Third, sharing content. Because social media is a series of websites and applications designed to allow people to share content quickly, efficiently, and in real time. For example, applications such as Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and etc. 6 days prior today, the 10th of October, marks the World Mental Health Day, where the goal is to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. But what is the correlation between social media and mental health? Well, one of the most downside of using social media is getting cyberbullied. Let me elaborate further. Cyberbullying is a form of bullying or harassment using electronic means, and that may cause psychological harm to another person. Now, the question is, why do they do it? Attention. Human beings are social beings, and we need social interaction, positive feedback, and validation of our worth. Many are happy with what attention they achieve naturally through their normal activities at home, work, or wherever they happen to be to spend their time. Some people need excessive attention, and the way they get it is by behaving inappropriately. It could be due to A, low self esteem, B, a lack of self confidence, or C, insecurity. However, some people they are actually not even bothered about the quality of attention they achieve by people, just as long as they get it. But hey, we are talking about bullies here. People who crave for attention because they either don't get it some or rather at all by the environments that they live in. So the only way they could think of is to make other people suffer by hurting them physically or mentally. Now, ladies and gentlemen, cyberbullying happens in many forms. It can start in school and continue online, meaning that children have no room to escape whatsoever. In other cases, the bullying originates from strangers online and ended up become relentless, such as from Omegle. Whether children have history of depression or not, cyberbullying takes its toll. Thus, how? How to avoid being a cyberbully and how to encounter such problem? Well, you see, I'd like to convey two solutions here. First, parents need to give their children attention as well as education. If they just give them attention but not education, that is right but not fully right. Like I stated in the beginning, a kid can be a bully because they either don't get enough attention or rather at all. As parents, it is one of their duties to love their children wholly. Furthermore, they need to remind their kids how it feels to become the victim of the bully itself. When someone become a bully, you see, they feel that they are T'Challa, the king of Wakanda. If you watch Marvel, you know that. It feels like they have the power to control everyone. They want the victim to suffer. Therefore, parents need to remind that their victim can achieve mental issues. And if this continues, suicide will occur. That's the first one. Second, as a social media user, we need to be smart upon using it and acknowledge the consequence of what will happen. You see, the thing about cyberbullying here is that the user is free and that the victims are being bullied because of what they had posted. Ironic, right? Aishelin Connor, for example, her case in 2012 of being bullied because she posted a picture on ask.fm. We need to realize that these bullies, they don't exist. Well, they are just, well, they exist, but in internet, in the social media, they're just humans in digital form. If we don't want to get cyberbullied, then we need to think twice about what we will post. And if there are people who bullied us, then the choices we get are only two. Either we flight or fight. It is better for us to at least fight, stand up for what is right. We must not let them decide who we are, rule who we are. We are us, and they are them. To sum it up, audience, I want to emphasize my words again. Cyberbullying can cause trauma, anxiety, and other mental issues, and can end it up in suicide. Because we are commemorating the World Mental Health Day, think of social media as like a knife. We can cut meat with it. It's good, right? But on the other hand, we can hurt someone with it. Sure, there are some benefits of using social media, but there are also some negative sides to it. We are a human being after all, and our life is in the reality. Sometimes we don't need to show every of our pictures to our social media. Sometimes we just need to put our phone down and social media down and just enjoy life. Yeah, that quote is from Corey X. Kenshin. Because who knows, audience, there could be potential bullies that will hurt us. Happy World Mental Health Day, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, Happy Bee, thank you so much for your speech. You may leave the room.
Thank you.
Son, what was the teacher explaining about? Asked Mum. Then he replied, I do not know, Mum. I've been playing games with my friends. what happens behind the scenes, no one will know. Welcome to the era of the COVID-19 pandemic, where everything is forced to be done remotely. Impact on the closure of schools and other public places. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Permission to introduce myself. The name of the participant is Satria Arif Pratama from Taranum Nusantara Senior High School. And on this occasion, I will convey my aspirations about the comparison between offline schools and online schools. It is very unfortunate that boarding schools based on discipline methods have to carry out online schools and do not get the full school experience. This is how I have felt the past few months, where it should be my daily life can be spent with my dearest friends and teachers. The undergoing the basic education period that should have been for 3 months, and then it was reduced to only 1.5 months, and many other things that I did not get for almost 2 years. And I'm very sure there are also many individuals out there who regret the current pandemic conditions. They cannot meet friends face to face, laugh together as usual, could not understand the material presented by the teacher because it was being blocked by a screen device. Offline or face-to-face classes do require us to get up in the morning, get ready, get in a vehicle, and go to school and traffic before arriving at our favorite school. Or at my school, the busy schedule requires us to be very precise in managing our time. We also have to organize our agenda well. Of course, we can feel that our daily life has more purposes because we have to take into account the use of time in a great detail, not just lying on the bed all day long. However, uniquely, some individuals even fell in love with this kind of online life. They can stay relaxed in bed without exerting as much energy as usual. Like, why do we need to go to the trouble of managing our schedule when we can change it flexibly? That is what online classes offer. With a few finger touches, you can customize your agenda. Teachers can also easily tell you when is the best time to hold classes. No more worrying about being too early or late. Online classes allow us to learn from anywhere in the world, even on long trips or vacations. But in the end, it is not a matter of conditions and the way we carry out our activities, but about human nature, which is never satisfied itself. Research on online learning for students was carried out, and the results show that students consider the use of online learning to be quite effective. However, there are many obstacles that rise and must be overcome as soon as possible so that teaching and learning activities can run smoothly. The obstacles in online learning suggest the learning media used by teachers is dominantly monotonous and makes students feel bored. Then the character or behavior of students is difficult to be monitored. The learning tends to be online assignments, making the assignments given by students piling up. And another obstacle is the absorption of subject matter is very minimal. And the assessment carried out by the teacher lacks integrity because the work is not being monitored. Well, the main obstacle in learning online itself is certain technology that all students must have so that it can allow them to study in place such as a smartphone or a computer. This becomes a barrier for some students in learning activities. The focus point is on the lower middle class people who have financial problems. They are unable to pay for their gadgets, electricity, and internet network. Instead, in offline classes, students do not need to be very afraid of limited facilities that can interfere with their learning process because during class hours, students only need to sit and interact with their favorite teachers or even play with friends. Thus, they can grow their love for the school, their course, and increase their enthusiasm for learning. In addition to the devices that students must have, without an internet network, online classes will not run. This also implies to fluency during the learning process if there is a connection problem. There is a risk that the information conveyed by the teacher will not reach all students equally. the director of elementary schools at the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Sri Wahyuningsi, said that many things had to be anticipated regarding the consequences of studying from home, such as the occurrence of learning loss or situations where students lose knowledge and skills, either it is general or specific or academic decline. Switching to the activities that are missed from face-to-face school, such as one of them is flag ceremonies that students miss during this pandemic. Usually they will do this activity every Monday, and it makes students lazy because of the flag ceremony. Usually students miss the teacher's punishment when the ceremony is over. Then one of the habits of school children when there is a free time is to sleep or play with friends, joking around, go to the cafeteria, play guitar, sing in class. Miss that. In this case, offline classes have advantages during the teaching and learning process. Although in fact, this can be easily balanced with online classes if the teacher who explains has the same competence and can easily build connections with the students he teaches. If learning is done face to face, the practicum and assignment processes are also easier to prepare, organize, and assess because all students can be seen directly by the teacher's performance and work process. Actually, offline learning is more effective than online, but for now, offline learning cannot be carried out for undetermined time. As well as the students studying in the 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 school years to date are those who are affected by the effects of the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it can be said that they are the product students during the pandemic. However, I hope that educators can still carry out the task of educating and transforming knowledge and their motivation well and maximally. Even if only through virtual interaction, virtual face-to-face, not the real face-to-face, the only best way to restore offline learning is to prioritize mass vaccinations for education personnel and school components so that the school environment can be full of individuals who have been vaccinated. We can see that from the conditions that all of us, the Indonesian people, are facing right now. In a sense, the problem faced by Indonesia is not COVID-19, but the mental problems of the community that must be built towards a better and more mature direction. Plus, people who take advantage during this condition for personal gain. Injustice must stop. And vaccination is one of the tools in media to revive justice and the spirit of learning for Indonesian youth. We must have a common vision and mission with all components of the Indonesian nation so that there are no tug of war policies issued by the government. Because everything can be right, everything can go wrong, it is our perspectives that determines. In the end, with whatever the conditions faced, learning and the educational process must not be stopped. It must be continued by adapting and innovating learning progress, by mastering learning platforms that are in accordance with the characteristics of the subjects. That is all from me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a nice day.
Okay, Satria, thank you so much for your speech. You may leave the room.
Thank you.